Okay, so uh, good day everyone. Welcome part 2 of our topic in operations auditing. Under pa rin tayo ng the title nito, Phases and Objectives of Operational Auditing. So let's continue with the phases in operational auditing. So we have three phases here. We have planning, evidence accumulation and evaluation, and number three, reporting and follow-up. So tatlo yan, planning, and then under yung isa is performing, and then yung last one is yung reporting. Let's start with planning. So planning is considered as the most important part of an audit. Di ba? Hindi lang naman, kahit hindi naman sa audit, kung titignan natin sa real life application natin, di ba bago tayo makapag-decide na gawin ang isang bagay, we need to plan. We need to i-outline kung ano yung mga pwedeng mangyari, yung mga possible courses of action natin, and yung mga consequences ng mga decisions natin. Kasi kung walang planning, syempre, uh, pwedeng mag-failed yung isang decision na gagawin natin. So poor planning leads to inefficient auditing practices. So sa auditing, very important kasi yan sa ginagawa natin sa audit kasi may process ang audit, di ba? Hindi lang basta-basta magbibigay ka ng opinion on the fairness of the financial statement, but you need to perform some um, steps, no particular test of control, substantive testing, which is very important na i-plan ahead before ka uh, magtuloy dun sa audit. As well as, you need also to plan yung scope and objectives, kailangan mo din i-notify si client. Siyempre, very important na ino-notify mo si client. Particularly dun sa mga nangyayari sa audit, if kailangan mo ng sufficient appropriate evidence, siyempre kay client mo kukunin yon. Discusses the scope and objectives of audit, gathers important evidences, evaluates existing controls, and pwede mo lang i-evaluate yung mga existing controls if in-accept mo na si client as your, um, in-accept mo na yung client mo, kasi sometimes, di ba, hindi naman basta-basta i-accept mo lang si client. You need to consider the integrity of the client. Sabi ko nga last time, we don't want to be associated with management that lacks integrity. Siyempre, kung pangit yung integridad ng isang company, ng isang client mo, hindi mo din gustong ma-associate sa kanya since pwede kang madamay doon sa mga like, for example, may fraud or may mga anomalies when it comes to its operations as well as financial statement. Ayaw mo din na nakapirma ka doon sa kanyang financial statement as well as sa auditor's report. Next is evaluate whether the client is audit worthy. So, maganda bang i-audit tong company na to? Kasi baka sa ending, hindi pala maganda yung result ng audit. Siyempre, nandun ka na, so you need to finish the audit. But sometimes, di ba, hindi naman pwedeng always positive ang audit. Kaya nga tayo nag-audit kasi gusto nating malaman yung fairness ng financial statement as well as malaman natin kung yung company na yun is profitable ba para magamit ng mga users natin, external users like creditors, investors, suppliers, customers, di ba? Para matulungan din natin sila. Kasi sa kanila naman talaga naka-address yung auditor's report, yung users ng ating auditor's report. Meron tayong tinatawag na 6 P's sa planning. We have proper prior planning prevents poor performance. So ano ibig sabihin ng proper prior planning prevents poor performance? Siyempre, kung magkaroon ng proper planning, no, maiwasan natin yung poor performance na tinatawag natin, yung mga unexpected errors, unexpected delays or delays as well as problems in performance of the audit process. So effectively plan engagement to ensure success. Yun naman ang gusto natin, maging success yung audit natin. Key steps in planning an audit. First is to determine the engagement objectives and scope. Kung ano ba talaga yung objective mo sa audit mo? If you want to know if kumusta ba yung financial statement, to check on the operations, if nasusunod ba yung mga operations process na tinatawag natin, as well as to check no yung scope, yung time as well as the geographical and procedural boundaries ng audit mo. And during planning meetings, internal auditors should engage in participative practices involving process owners such as much as possible to identify relevant activities, systems, people, and performance standards. Kung sino yung mga involved dito sa audit na to, kung magkano yung budget, mga ganon. Kasi hindi lang basta-basta papasok ka sa audit na wala kang objective, hindi mo alam kung sino yung involved. So, mahirapan ka doon. Kaya nga ginagawa itong planning sa audit. Next is understand the committee, yung audit objectives, kung sino, kung si auditor lang ba ang kasama or anong areas ng company ang kailangan mong i-measure. Next is identify and assess risk, the specific events or scenarios that could prevent the achievement of auditee's objective must be identified and assessed. Ano yung mga risk na pwedeng mangyari during the audit? Diba meron tayong, kung re-recall natin, meron tayong audit risk. The formula for audit risk is inherent risk times control risk times detection risk. Ang tawag sa inherent risk times control risk is the risk of material misstatement. Ano yung mga risk factors, di ba? May mga condition na pwedeng apektuhan yung ating audit, not only physically, but also yung environment, yung mga people around na pwedeng maka-involve dun sa ating audit. Next, pag-uusapan din dyan yung may example dito ng risk factor, employees competence. So as employees competence increases, the risk of errors, omissions, and other operational problems decreases. Siyempre, kung maganda yung competence competent yung mga employee mo, siyempre, mas magaling sila, mas lesser yung risk of errors as well as problems na na-encounter mo sa operations mo. Ano pa? Identify key controls. So pag sinabing key controls, these are individual or other controls that mitigate the auditor's risk to an acceptable level. So kakatulong yung mga key controls na yan to achieve the objective of the audit. Evaluate the adequacy of control design. The first key evaluation is the adequacy of control design. This step requires that the internal auditor to evaluate whether the controls, if they operate effectively, will mitigate the risk that could prevent the achievement of objectives. Ano ba yung example ng mga control? Like physical control. When you say physical control, andyan yung bodyguard, andyan yung locks, di ba? Pag sinabi naman nating digital controls or access controls like passwords, di ba? Yung mga computers natin is may adequate bang controls like the passwords, may biometrics ba? Yun. Kasi kung walang mga access control na yan, is ibig sabihin vulnerable. Yung mga computers natin when it comes to accessible or intruders, yung mga unauthorized person, which is possible na ma-manipulate or ma-access nila yung mga ating mga important data. Next is create a test plan. So the test plan outlines how each of the key controls will be tested to help the internal auditor evaluate how effectively those controls are operating. So yung mga test plan na i-outline mo kung paano ba makakatulong si internal auditor to resolve yung mga problems na pwedeng na-encounter ng company. Next is develop a work program. Yung work program naman, andyan yung mga objectives, yung scope, ano yung mga tasks na pwede nating i-apply when it comes to the audit program, the key meetings, siyempre siya meetings natin, and then yung mga minute the meetings ilalagay dyan, kung alin yung mga kailangan na i-apply na solution sa ating mga problems. And then, mention din dyan yung typical work program includes key administrative tasks, key meetings, planning tasks, field work tasks, wrap-up steps, as well as reporting tasks. So, I will assign that to you as your reading material. And lastly, last na ba to? Allocate resources to the engagement. So, based on the tasks to be performed during an engagement, personnel with the appropriate level of experience and skills must be identified and assigned to ensure the engagement is completely timely and effectively. Siyempre, ang pipiliin nating personnel dyan when it comes to engagement is yung talagang effective and mayroong skills and abilities when it comes to audit para mas effective and uh, mas efficient yung audit natin kasi we are not talking only about the effectiveness of audit but also the efficiency ng matapos yan on time. Kasi may may time na sinusunod din, time frame kasi yung auditor's report is may time din kung kailan siya need i-submit kasi nga ang gusto ng mga users natin is timely information. Aanhin mo naman yung isang auditor's report, tatapos mo nga pero tapos na yung season na kailangan siya like kunyari filing na ng filing na tax returns, di ba, April 15. So, lumagpas ka na doon. So, aanhin mo na yun. Tapos na yung filing. Hindi na din magagamit ng mga users mo. Kasi nga, tapos na din yung date kung kailan talaga siya kailangan. Para makapag-invest din na rin. Makapag-invest agad yung mga investors natin. Kailangan natin ng mas updated na information. And then may tinatawag din tayong annual audit plan. The plan will be subject to reviews to ensure that the focus continues on higher risk areas, as well as the communication of audit plans. Saan natin siya i-communicate sa, if internal auditor ka, i-communicate mo sa external auditor, di ba? Management ang gumagawa ng FS and then i-audit ni internal auditor. Yung trabaho ni internal auditor is aaralin or i-audit ni external auditor. And sa external auditor is i-communicate niya sa audit committee kung ano pa yung lagay ng audit committee or the board of directors yung na audit ni external auditor. And then, papadala yon sa ating mga external users like shareholders, investors, creditors. Distribution of audit plan. Saan banda na yan? Wait lang, check ko lang. Okay, yung communication and then yung distribution of audit plan, inform about changes at least a prior month. So kung if ever man magkaroon ng changes sa audit, dapat i-inform nyo si client about the changes at least a month prior para makapag-ready din siya. And if kailangan ng additional person na involved dun sa pag-audit. Kasi pag sinabing audit, napakalawak yung madaming kailangang i-gather na evidence. So hindi lang pwedeng isang tao lang gagawa niyan. You are a team audit kayo na auditing team tawag sa inyo. So madami kayo naka-assign sa iba't ibang task na gagawin nyo in order to finish the audit of financial statement. So after planning, no, performing naman na tayo. So anong ginagawa sa performing? Yung performing, yun nga, andun yung evidence accumulation and evaluation. So may tinatawag tayong field work. Field work, during work, you conduct tests to gather evidence. Anong ginawa? You gather documents. Sufficient, yung SAE, sufficient appropriate evidence to support the conclusions on how effective the controls are. Yun naman yung goal natin. Bago tayo makapaggawa ng conclusion, you need evidence, patunay na talagang ganun. May basis ka dun sa conclusion mo. Evaluate evidence gathered and reach conclusions and develop observations and formulate recommendations. From that conclusions, you will make recommendations din para ma-improve or masolusyonan yung mga problems na na-encounter mo during your audit or ma-help mo din yung mga stakeholders as well as the management in improving the operations of the business. And then yung audit evidence na tinatawag natin, dyan nakabase yung ating mga conclusions. And ang gusto natin is sufficient as well as appropriate evidence, which requires extensive interaction and communication with the personnel involved. Internal auditors must be open, communicative, and collaborative. Kasi si internal auditors, siya din yung isa sa mga tatanungin ni external auditor when it comes to the audit. Kasi kung mag-audit, syempre, ang mga itatanungin natin is yung mga personnel involved. Kung sino talaga yung nag-handle ng mismong operations na yun. Like for example, sa sales, the sales manager, yung mga sales staff, ang tatanungin natin, yung mismong on hand talagang na-experience yung auditing, yung sales. Kung sa marketing naman, siyempre si marketing manager, and then yung mga sales person natin. So iba't iba, depende sa anong department ang gusto nating i-audit sa operations natin. And then some managers see the engagement as a threat, specifically looking things they have done wrong. Di ba yun ang point of view ng mga managers? Kapag may auditor, natatakot na sila or parang nape-pressure na sila kasi ang goal nating auditor is to check, 'di ba, kung talagang nasusunod yung mga objectives ng company. And si auditor, syempre, ano yan, very yan, professional skepticism, ina-apply niya, chinecheck niya yung bawat, kaya nga audit eh, ino-audit, chinecheck kung may mga pagkakamali, may mali, hindi ba nasusunod, may mga flaws, di ba? So ang point of view ng manager, threat tayo sa kanila kasi nga baka may masilip tayong mali dun sa operations nila. And syempre kung may mali doon, magre-reflect yun sa performance nila and yun ang something na ayaw din nila. So yun ang babantayan din natin doon. Professional skepticism. So me demonstrating professional skepticism. Di ba yan yun? Professional skepticism dapat kapag may information na binigay sa'yo, you need to be alert, question mind. Talagang bang ito, parang pag-iisipan mo only once, not only twice. Talagang pag-iisipan mo if talaga bang legit yung information na ito or talaga bang ito yung information or baka may something dito sa information na ito. Aside from that, yan. Di ba? Familiar? Professional skepticism. Nag-overthink ka talaga. Lagyan natin ng sound. Lagyan natin ng sound para mas ma-feel nyo. Wait lang. Ayan. Professional skepticism. Ayun. Next. Short break lang yun ah. Sama tayo. Okay, next. Ano ba yung professional skepticism na tinatawag natin? This is the attitude characterized by a questioning mind and a critical assessment of evidence, particularly relevant in auditing yung mga questioning of mind. Like healthy professional skepticism and verify the quality of information gathered and used. Corroborate the testimony received and observe behavioral changes that could indicate deceit. So, yun ang pag-uusapan natin. Pag sinabing professional skepticism is dapat alert, critical yung pag-assess mo sa information na binigay sa'yo. At ma-observe mo din yun, di ba? If kapag kumuha ka ng mga testimony, makikita mo if may behavioral changes. Kung nagpapanik ba sila or hindi sila makatingin sa mata or talagang kinakabahan sila, di ba? Sometimes ano yun, parang evidence yun na may something dun sa information na binigay nila or kinakabahan lang talaga sila or sometimes talagang may something dun sa information. Iba ka nagsisinungaling sila, di ba? Makikita mo na yun sa person. So you need to be skeptic yung tinatawag natin when it comes to gathering information. Next, reasonable assurance. Di ba? Pinag-usapan natin pag sinabing reasonable assurance, it is the uh, acceptable, no, acceptable level of assurance in audit. Reasonable assurance in auditing signifies a high but not absolute. Bakit walang absolute assurance? Kasi mayroong inherent risk, 'di ba? Kung yung mga risk na yan, andyan na yan, inherent na yan. Kahit anong gawin mo, hindi maaalis. Meron at merong risk. Kaya nga walang absolute assurance. Sa'yo nga, tinanong ko last time kung anong assurance ang binibigay sa'yo. Oh, dapat siguro reasonable assurance kasi wala namang absolute assurance. Meron at meron risk yan, hindi mo lang sure. So the level of confidence that a specific subject matter, like financial statement, is free from material misstatement. It indicates that the auditor has gathered sufficient and appropriate evidence to conclude with a strong degree of certainty, though not perfectly certain about the accuracy and reliability of information. Yun nga, sapat sufficient and appropriate lang. And kaya nga walang perfect din na information kasi nga meron at meron tayong risk and estimate lang sometimes yung ginagamit natin kasi hindi natin makuha sometimes yung talagang exact amount of information. Let's go to persuasiveness. Persuasiveness, a picture that you can hear. Anak ulit tayo ng sound. Diba familiar na familiar? Ay, ay, wait lang. Persuasiveness. Ano ulit? Nag-e-effort pala siya. Pero di ba may bago na? may bago na siyang may bago na silang may bago na silang ayan na, bagong ads. 'Di ba, pamilyar? Sorry, nag-e-echo pala siya. Patalastas lang. Okay, let's go back. POV, no? POV. POV ng mga manager sa mga auditor. Makuha kasi tingin. Siyempre, as manager, di ba, kakabahan ka nga. So, ganyan yung itsura ng mga manager. So, when you say persuasiveness, no? Persuasive if it enables the auditor to formulate conclusion and advise confidently. Dapat ma-persuade or maengganyo mo, mapaniwala mo yung mga yung auditor na talagang yung ano mo o mapaniwala ni auditor yung mga users na talagang ganun yung conclusion niya dun sa financial statement. Para masabing persuasive yung evidence, dapat relevant, reliable at saka sufficient. Yung evidence ang pinag-usapan natin yung evidence dapat persuasive, kapani-paniwala yung evidence na nakuha ni auditor. Pag sinabing relevant, is the evidence pertinent to the audit objective? Related ba sa audit objective yung evidence na nakuha mo? Magagamit mo ba siya? Useful ba siya? Pag sinabing reliable naman, did the evidence come from a credible source? Ibig sabihin, reliable na ba yung pinagkuhanan mo? Di ba pinag-usapan natin last time yung pinagkaiba yung mga relevant information, internal, external, gano'n. And then sufficient. Enough ba yung information na makukuha mo? Kaya nga sa ba sufficient appropriate evidence ang gusto natin. Ito yung guidelines nga nasa when it comes to evidences. Kung ano yung alin yung mas reliable. Kung external versus internal, syempre mas reliable yung external source. Kapag effective ang internal control, if internally generated is more reliable when the controls are effective. Kung direct or indirect obtained, syempre mas effective yung directly obtained ni practitioner. Kung written versus oral, syempre mas effective si oral pa rin. And kung original or reproduced, original documents pa rin ang mas reliable. Okay, before, check ko lang. Ilan na ba to? Kaya nga, okay, hanggang dun lang muna siguro. Para may next meeting pa tayo, no? So hanggang dito lang sa guidelines and evidence. Susunod na sa next part of this video lecture yung types of audit evidence. So see you on the next video lecture. No, if you have any questions, clarifications, you can also join the Google Meet in the CBE help virtual help desk para matulungan kayo sa inyong mga questions. And also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to uh, comment or ask me questions either sa Google Meet or sa Google Classroom or by message. No? Don't forget to subscribe and click the like button and the subscribe notification and as well as the notification bell if you have for more updates. No, yun lang. And see you on the next video lecture. Bye.